Lord, thank you for this opportunity to see how the city government works. Please help us appreciate what they do on a day-to-day basis that will only get a glimpse of doing. And give the government workers the wisdom they need to make good decisions. Bless this experience and let us all learn a lesson that will help us throughout our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know. Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Roehouse?
Here.
Mr. Bennett?
Yep.
Ms. Robbins? Here. Ms. Flavin? Here. Ms. Morris? Here. Ms. Hahn?
Here. Next is the approval of minutes, May 11th, 2012.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of May 11, 2012.
Madam President, I'd like to second that motion.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes, May 11, 2012. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes approved. Elections and appointments, Mayor Babcock.
I would like to appoint Madison Shoemaker to the Mayor's Development Task Force for a one-year term ending on May 1st, 2014. Thank you, Madam President.
Heath City Council would like to appoint Colton Huber to Heath Park and Recreation Board. A 5-year term will be ending on May 10th, 2008. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President,
Ms. Hahn.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Colton Huber for Heath Parks and Recreation Board.
Madam President, Mr. Miller, I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Colton Huber to the Parks and Recreation Board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Colton Huber has been appointed. Special orders and special committees, there is none. Unfinished business, there is none. Petitions and communications.
Two Heath City Council members from the Citizens Safety Commission, May 10th, 2013, reason juvenile curfew concerns. It has been brought to our attention that many juveniles have been out past their curfews. Please have the Heath police officers patrol our city streets each night and ensure the safety of all citizens. Two Heath City Council members from the Citizens of Youth Committee, May 10th, 2013, reason Heath City Water Park. We would like to suggest the Heath City Water Park be heated for the enjoyment of our citizens and covered at night when not in use. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President,
Mr. Wheelhouse.
I would like to make a motion to receive and file communications.
Madam President,
Mr. Miller.
I'd like to second that motion.
Motion and a second to receive and file communications. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Communications have been filed. At this time, any visitors that would like to speak may approach the podium. Please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Abby Wilhelm, and I live on 1828 Berkshire Drive. And I've come to the council and others to address a concern. Okay. Last night, I was with my family at Tumbleweed. I was having a very pleasant dinner. The food was very good and delicious, and I was spending quality family time. But, Madam President, adjust. The Biller family approached the building, and they were disrupting the building. They were throwing food like baboons, and they were yelling like cavemen. And I am very disappointed that this man, boy, I don't know, has such an important role in the Heath City. And I want to request that council is to pass a resolution admonishing the Biller family from their conduct at Tumbleweed. Thank you, Madam President.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President.
Ms. Flavin.
I second that motion. We have a motion to admonish the Biller family from Tumbleweed. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Aye. Motion
was adopted.
Moving on. Okay. Committee reports. Finance budget, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Madam President. Finance Committee met on Monday, May 6, 2013, and came up with 4 legislative requests. The first one was to enter into an agreement with the Licking County Commissioners for the paving of a part of Erdingwick West utilizing community development block grant funds. The second one is to enter into a lease agreement with the State of Ohio to complete work at Canal Park and install a gravity sewer. And fourth, to advertise for street paving and to adopt 2013 land use and thoroughfare plan. Auditor Vion, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Miller.
First off, independent auditors are currently on site at Heath City Hall evaluating the financial records of the city for the second time. Ocean, Shannon, and Snow, CPAs, have been approved by the Auditor of State to audit Heath's finances. Second, income tax collections seem to be increasing this year as compared to last year. It is important for council to remember to be very responsible in spending. As you know, the city is not allowed to ever submit a budget that is not balanced. Last year we spent approximately $160,000 more than we collected, so we spent city reserves. Third off, the auditor's office will soon hold the city auction, where impounded vehicles, bicycles, city surplus items, and items held in the police department evidence that have been released by the courts. Last and certainly not least, council, the mayor, and the public should be aware that the auditor's office has once again prepared an award-winning report, and again qualified for the Government Finance Officers Association's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This completes my report. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Auditor. Tax Commissioner Hartman, do you have anything else to add?
Yes. The tax collections for 2012 had an increase of over 2% compared to the 2011 tax receipts. To date, the tax collected January of 2013 through April of 2013 was more significantly over 16% than the tax collected for the first 4 months of 2012. The tax office is pleased that income tax collections are increasing, and this is encouraged that this trend will continue throughout the next year. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Tax Commissioner Hartman. That is all, Madam President.
Public Services, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Madam President. Division of Utilities met April 22nd, 2013, 5:30 p.m. Wastewater construction starting May 2013. The city will bypass Fox Run lift station and gravity to a larger lift station called Holly Park on State Route 79. Holly Park lift station has the ability to handle 40% more flow than the Fox Run lift station. The city also wishes to eliminate the Scioto lift station and gravity flow to an existing 15-inch gravity sewer that runs parallel to State Route 79. The path of the proposed sewer will follow the existing road right of way past under State Route 79 and tie into the existing gravity sewer line. Total cost $558,760. Water plant improvements starting May 2013. Installation of a new 52-foot diameter clarifier and two new high service pumps, which have the ability to increase water pressure with a variable frequency drive system from 62 psi to 110 psi, and also demolition of the existing 1957 clarifiers, clear well number 1, and pump building. Total costs $1,262,000. Utility Director Haley Small, do you have anything to add?
Yes, the water plant expansion pre-construction meeting will be held on May 15th at 3 p.m. This meeting will take place at the water plant. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam President.
Public Safety, Ms. Moore. Thank you, Madam President. Heath Fire Department met on April 8th of 2013. And here's what we have to report. There have been fires. The backfills have been tested. Your axle is that. Old business, still working on EMS software and there's still no grid to work. There's no new business. There've been one. 129 defense reports. There have been 47 arrests, 33 accidentals, and 81 citations. A legislative request. A request to redirect city auction proceeds from bicycles and vehicle condoms currently there, and the current percentage of proceeds directed to Parks Department to be law enforcement trust fund. A request to appropriate $31,782 to replace car 7, totaled in recent vehicle crash. A request to appropriate $2,332.46 from the general fund to purchase defibrillator pads and batteries for AEDs. Said items replace expired parts. Police Chief Officer, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add at this time.
Fire Chief Jacobs, do you have anything to add?
Yes. Repairs have been completed on the man's vehicle rear axle at a cost of $1,600. Work was done by Jay Stubbs. All fire apparatus are currently in service. The department made 158 emergency medical calls in April. We had 44 fire calls in April. The department transported 88 patients to the memorial. The Heath Fire Department has employed us to youth and government program again this year. Now I invest for the future leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam President.
Streets and drainage, Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Madam President. The Streets and Drainage Committee met April 15th at 5:30 p.m. Street Superintendent Callie Holmberg gave the report. There were 3 items on the agenda. First item on the agenda, the list of streets in need of paving and be informed by Josephine Henderson Engineering. They will give us an estimate of the cost of the work. Item 2 on the agenda, the street department is using our Cura patcher to fill the potholes and other repairs needed throughout the city. Repairs were made at the back entrance to Hoback Park and on Old Linville Road. Third item on the agenda, update on the 30th Street paving project. Preliminary work will begin this week. Milling will begin next week. They hope to have this part of the project paved by late May to early June. With nothing else to report, the meeting adjourned at 6:00 p.m. Superintendent Callie Holmberg, do you have anything to add?
Yes, Ms. Vaughn. New paving on the following streets will begin in the next few months. Roller Ridge Subdivision, streets in Forest Hills, Franklin Avenue, Dogwood Road, Liberty Drive. Burning along all roads and roads will begin next week. Thank you, Ms. Vaughn.
That is all, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Community Development and Zoning, Mr. Wilhoff.
Thank you, Madam President. Community Development Committee met May 6, 2013 with five objects on the agenda. A legislative request for street paving, a legislative request to adopt land use and the thoroughfare plan, a national emergency grant for South Fork tree removal, South 30th Street paving update, and Thornwood culvert update. Zoning Inspector Pierce, do you have anything else to report? Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Wilhoff. Next comes Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shed. First item on the agenda is cleaning pool and landscaping. It's the time of year to get the pool ready and landscape. A part-time employee has been hired to assist with this. Opening day for the pool will be 6/1/13. Next is pool staff applications. We are in the process of staffing the pool. The application process is closed and staff is reviewing applications received to select summer employees. Once hiring is complete, they will be ordering apparel. Next is the Davis Shea House report. The executive director of the Davis Shea House attended council to provide financial reports for the house to council. She covered the budget, including expenses and income, and provided a comparison of 2013 versus 2012. There are no other items on the agenda. Park Superintendent, Ms. Armstrong, do you have anything else to add?
Yes. The spring is a busy time of the year for the Parks Department. Softball and volleyball leagues at Keller Park for adults are running. The swimming pool has to be cleaned and ready for opening day, along with softball diamonds at Keller Park. Picnic tables need to be placed in the parks along with mowing and picking up trash in all parks. Playground equipment must be checked along with any other facilities within the park system. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Armstrong. Planning Commission, Ms. Slayton.
Thank you, Madam President. The City of Heath Planning Commission met Thursday, April 25th, 2013. There were 2 items on the agenda. Under new business, Gazer Aluminum presented a lot sketch for review of a new parking lot voted to approve the last batch. Under old business, the planning commission completed its year-long review of the city's land use thoroughfare plan. The plan outlines the potential growth of each footprint. Items such as potential land annexed into the city, future street growth locations, and future water lines for review. The commission voted to forward to city council's amended plan and city council's approval. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Lehman. Next, there are no ordinances on the first reading. Ordinances on the second reading. Ordinance 1 CL 17.
Ordinance 1 CL 17, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to add additional recycling drop-off areas within the city of Heath limits. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Heath, state of Ohio, section 1, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to add additional recycling drop-off areas within Heath of city limits. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law.
Madam President,
Ms. Lawrence.
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1 CL 17.
Madam President,
Ms. Vaughn.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 1 CL 17. Any discussion? I think that we should put up more recycling bins around Heath to encourage citizens to recycle and to make it more convenient to do so. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Wheelhouse,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Robbins.
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes.
Ordinance 1 CL 17 has been adopted. Ordinance 2 CL 17.
Ordinance 2 CL 17, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $8,500 within the capital improvement fund to install security cameras at locations along the bike path. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Heath, state of Ohio, section 1, that the appropriation of $8,500 within the capital improvement fund to install security cameras at locations along the bike path is hereby approved. Section 2, that pursuant to charter section 4.08, inasmuch as this ordinance pertains to an appropriation of funds, it shall go into effect immediately upon its adoption by council and signed by the mayor.
Madam President,
Ms. Lehman.
I would like to motion to adopt ordinance 2 CL 17.
Madam President,
Mr. Woodhouse.
I would like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2 CL 17. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Lehman.
I think there should be security cameras on the bike path for the safety of our citizens and students. It is a very small cost for the safety of the systems of people. Madam President.
Madam President,
Ms. Vaughn.
what if something happens to the cameras? A lot of people going through the bike path vandalize a lot of stuff around them. So what if the people find the cameras and vandalize them?
Lehman, do you have this information?
We have extra cameras and we have warranty plans.
Madam President,
Ms. Morris.
do we have plans on how to conceal the cameras? Ms. Lehman.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Mr. Wheelhouse.
is there any way to save any form of monetary value by, say, less cameras or a cheaper company to install them?
Ms. Lehman. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Wheelhouse,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Robbins.
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes.
Ordinance 2 CL 17 has been adopted. Ordinance 3 CL 17.
Ordinance 3 CL 17, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to add resource officers for security within all Heath City School District buildings. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Heath, state of Ohio, section 1, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to add resource officers
Madam President,
Ms. Lehman.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 3 CL 17. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Fielder.
At the middle school, the kids go in the front parking lot for recess. Would the officer go outside with them or stay in the building?
they would go outside with them.
Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, I believe we should have security for Heath City Schools, for there to be a police officer to be at school to protect the staff and students. Thank you.
just curious, how many officers would be on duty at one time?
Oh, there would be one on duty.
Madam President, Ms. Moore, will we have an active officer?
No.
Madam President, in the case of an intruder, our police officers in schools will provide more safety to students and staff.
Madam President,
Mr. Bennett,
would the officers receive a pay increase from your municipal authority?
They would get paid double for being at the school.
Thank you, Madam President.
any other discussion?
Madam President,
Mr. Ross?
would there ever be a time that there would be a chance to have a second officer patrolling each student at any point in time? We would have to see if just one officer would work. Thank you, Madam President.
Roll call?
Mr. Miller,
No.
Mr. Wheelhouse,
No.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Robbins.
Yes.
Ms. Latham,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Lund.
Yes.
Ordinance 3CL17 has been adopted. Ordinance 4CL17.
Ordinance 4CL17, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $150,000 within the capital improvement fund to install a wave pool at the Heath City Water Park. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Heath, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the appropriation of $150,000 within the capital improvement fund to install a wave pool at the Heath City Water Park is hereby approved. Section 2, that the pursuant to Charter Section 4.08, inasmuch as this ordinance pertains to an appropriation of funds, it shall go into effect immediately upon the adoption by council and signing by the mayor.
Madam President, Mr. Miller, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 4CL17.
Madam President,
Mr. Bennett?
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 4CL17. Any discussion?
Madam President, the pool has been struggling to break even recently, and the installation of the wave pool brings more people and attract attention. Sometimes you gotta spend money to make it. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President,
I think that since it's so much money, we should create a special fund and take a survey to see how many people use the wave pool to see if the cost of installing it would be any cheaper. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, I believe that the wave pool is very necessary, especially for that cost, and that the money could be used more efficiently on other matters. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President,
Where would the wave pool be located inside of the park?
We are currently working on an extension plan of the park, location.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Wheelhouse,
No.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Robbins.
Yes.
Ms. Latham,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
No.
Ms. Lund.
Yes.
Ordinance 4CL17 has been adopted. Ordinance 5CL17.
Ordinance 5CL17, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $5,000 within the capital improvement fund to pave the walking/running path at John C. Geller Park. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Heath, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the appropriation of $5,000 within the capital improvement fund to pave the walking/running path at John C. Geller Park is hereby approved. Section 2, that the pursuant to Charter Section 4.08, inasmuch as this ordinance pertains to an appropriation of funds, it shall go into effect immediately upon its adoption by council and signed by the mayor.
Madam President, Ms. Moore, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 5CL17.
Madam President, Mr. Miller, I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 5CL17. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Guion?
I'm curious, how much of the path are we paving?
Ms. Moore?
Approximately 9/10 of a mile.
Thank you, Madam President.
Any other discussion?
I think that it would be a good idea to pave these paths because many people practice there for sports and it can be dangerous with potholes and people could get hurt.
Madam President?
Is there any way are there any other companies that are supplying this that would be less valuable?
I do not know that information at this time.
Thank you, Madam President.
Any other discussion?
Roll call.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Wheelhouse,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Robbins,
Yes.
Ms. Lehman?
No.
Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes. Ordinance 5CL17 has been adopted. Ordinance 6CL17.
Ordinance 6CL17, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to create a task force to develop a plan to bring businesses into the city and utilize currently constructed vacant buildings. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Heath, state of Ohio, section 1, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to create a task force to develop a plan and bring businesses into the city and utilize currently constructed vacant buildings. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law.
Madam President, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 6CL17.
Madam President,
Ms. Hahn?
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 6CL17. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Gideon?
I think this is a good idea because then people that might move to Heath realize that we love our community and they will see all the business here once we do this, if we pass it, and they will like our city even more. Thank you.
Madam President, I think it's a very good idea because we shouldn't build two buildings when one already exists. The rail car access and the abundance of water that's available has sparked interest in companies. And there are many vacant buildings not being used currently in the city of Heath. Thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Miller?
I have a question for Mr. Millhouse. How much would this task force cost?
I do not have that information at this point. I will take that into consideration.
Madam President, Ms. Morris? I believe that is a very good idea. However, are there any specific vacant buildings that we have in mind?
There are no specific vacant buildings. It would just be aimed at the vacant buildings available in Heath.
Madam President, I'm curious as to how exactly this task force will draw business in.
I do not have that information at this point in time. I will take that into consideration.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Millhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Robbins?
Yes.
Ms. Lehman?
Yes.
Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Ordinance 6CL17 has been adopted.
CL17. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to create an emergency plan for use of generators and ice makers during power outages. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Heath, state of Ohio, section 1, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to create an emergency plan for the use of generators and ice makers during power outages. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law.
Madam President,
Mr. Bennett?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt our ordinance 7CL17.
Madam President, Ms. Lehman, I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 7CL17. Any discussion?
I have a question. How many generators and ice makers are we talking about, and what would be the total estimated cost?
Well, since the amount of the people who actually do need electricity to keep certain medical machines running are a limited number of people in our city, and since it has been called to my attention that some people have taken it upon themselves to prepare for such an event, we will only have to supply 100 public generators and 250 large 10-pound ice pipes and 500 small 5-pound ice pipes. And the total cost of storage, the generator to keep the storage running, and the ice and the public generators have a total cost of $181,954 and $45. Thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Miller?
Is there any possible way we can reduce this cost?
I have taken this into consideration, and I believe that this is the most cost-effective way to run this police station. Thank you, Madam President.
Based on Mr. Bennett's information, I think we should create a special fund for emergencies in case we don't have enough money in the general fund, or the money in the general fund is being used for something else if another emergency like the one we had currently be to occur. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President,
Would these generators and bag supplies, would they be supplied to the more populated areas of Heath? Or just on
The station would be located in a central location in Heath, and most homes and businesses are located around the center of Heath. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, especially the elder board. Thank you, Madam President.
any other discussion? Roll call. Mr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Newhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Robbins?
Yes.
Ms. Flavin?
Yes.
Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Lott? Yes.
Ordinance 7/CL17 has been approved. There are no resolutions on the first reading, resolutions on second reading. Resolution 17/CL1.
Resolution 17/CL1. A resolution renaming County Road 000 as Babcock Parkway in honor of Mayor Gunnar Babcock. Whereas council has determined that the County Road 000 should be named in honor of Mayor Gunnar Babcock because he has been involved in many ways in the community of Heath. And whereas Gunnar Babcock has been a teacher, principal, superintendent of the Heath City Schools, served in the military, received a distinguished award from the Lincoln County Veterans Service Commission, American Legion Post 771, voted as Veteran of the Year, participated in other civic and community events, activities, and organizations for many years, 3-on-3 basketball champion, dodgeball champion, and has received all A's this year in social studies. And whereas Gunnar Babcock is presently the mayor of Heath, a leader in the community and well deserving of a road named in his honor. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Heath, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the Council supports, encourages, and approves the renaming of County Road 000 as Babcock Parkway. Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect in the informed
Motion is second to adopt resolution 17/CL1. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Morris?
I do not believe that we should name the street after Mayor Babcock just because of his achievements, as many others have done many great things in their lives, and we could easily name the road after them instead.
Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Mr. Bennett?
I believe that when you give a person a higher honor such as naming a road after them, then that you should take into consideration their character and not just their achievements. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, I think that our mayor is very deserving of honor because of all the stuff he's done for Heath. There's many people that's done a lot, but not quite as much as him. Thank you.
I think, like Mr. Bennett said, a person's character should be taken into consideration. And like Ms. Rose said, a lot of other people have done other things, and some people deserve some things, but they didn't get it because someone beat them out, for example. But just because you have a lot of trophies or whatever, you shouldn't get a road named after you. I think that if you do want to rename the road, you should look into community service where to see if a specific person has served at whatever place for many years without pay or something like that, to really examine the citizens of Heath to see if anyone else would be more deserving. Thank you, Madam President.
Any other discussion?
roll call. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Millhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
No.
Ms. Robbins?
No.
Ms. Flavin?
Yes.
Ms. Morris?
No.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
ideas and suggestions of everyone involved were great to see. My administration will do what it needs to be done in order to implement those ordinances just passed, in which I have signed. There are a couple of upcoming events in the city that I would like to make sure everyone is aware of. On May 27th, Memorial Day, the city's annual Memorial Day ceremony will take place at Northeast Airport next to the restored F-4 Phantom airplane near the aircraft hangars. The event begins at 5:30 p.m. and the public is invited to attend. I want to give a special thank you to the members of American Legion Post 771 who do so much to coordinate this event. Members of the high school band will participate in this year's ceremony, and we're happy to have them involved. Also, as you may be aware, the last day of the 2011-2012 school year is coming up on Thursday, May 30th. I'm sure I'm joined by members of council and my administration looking forward to a safe and fun summer break. That's all I have today, Madam President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Babcock. Auditor Young. Thank you. First off, I would like to say that there is a band concert May 13th at 7 p.m. I think in the high school auditorium. All the bands will be participating from both the middle school and the high school. I would like to thank my family for supporting me during this, and I would like to thank my sister for not getting really mad because I got a higher position than her. I would like to thank the auditor for giving up his chair for a couple days. I would like to thank everyone who helped us and toured us around the city because they took time out of their usual day to give us the opportunity to see what they do. I would like to thank Mr. Hankin for putting me on the spot. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Auditor Mia. Law Director Richmond?
Thank you. I would like to thank Mr. Hankinson for giving me the position as law director. I would like to thank the Lions Club for lunch and Mr. Heffley and Mr. Kelly for helping us on Thursday and Friday.
Councilmember Miller?
Thank you. I just want to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in this position. I want to thank Mr. Kelly and Mr. Heffley for helping us out these past 2 days. The Lions Club for giving us our lunch. All the city workers who showed us around today. And Auditor Bion and Tax Commissioner Hartman for giving me reports. That's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Wheelhouse? I would just like to thank everybody for coming today. I would also like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in this position. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly and Mr. Heffley for helping me out quite a lot. I'd also like to thank the Lions Club for supplying me with lunch, and that's all. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr. Wheelhouse. Councilmember Bennett?
Thank you, Madam. I would like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in such a high and honorable position. I would like to thank my grandparents for supplying me with the just clothes. And I would like to thank the internet for making research so much easier. Thank you.
Councilmember Cleveland?
I would like to thank the Lions Club for providing us with lunch today, the fire department for providing us with a place to eat, and the city of Heath for taking time out of their day for busy days to show us around. Thank you, Madam
Councilmember Moore?
I would like to thank the grand person for me, Mr. Hankinson, for allowing me to be here. And all of you for making this great.
Councilmember Hahn?
I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly and Mr. Heffley for helping me through Thursday and Friday. I'd like to thank the Lions Club for providing us lunch, and I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in this position. Thank you, Madam President.
Council Clerk Jones?
I'd like to thank Gunnar for making this an enjoyable time. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly and Mr. Heffley for helping us Thursday and Friday. I'd like to thank my dad for putting up with me. I'd like to thank the Lions Club for lunch, and I guess I'd like to thank Hankinson.
I guess.
And I would like to thank my family and friends for supporting me, Mr. Hankinson for helping organizing this. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly and Mr. Helpley for showing us around yesterday. I'd like to thank everyone else who made youth in government possible. I'd like to thank the Lions Club for the lunch and for all of you. Please, Chief Officer.
I'd really like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in this position, and I'd like to thank all the city workers who showed us around today. Thank you, Madam President.
Fire Chief Jacob.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for giving me this position as Fire Chief, and I'd like to thank Fire Chief Mr. Huggins for taking us out to the grounds.
Building and Zoning Director Pierce.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in the position, and I'd like to thank the new fire department for the station.
Tax Commissioner Hartman.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for giving me the spot, and I'd like to thank Lions Club for giving us lunch today. Thank you, Madam President.
Utilities Director Small.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for putting me in this spot. I'd like to thank everybody at the City of Heath for giving us all a tour, and I'd like to thank Lions Club for providing us with great lunch. Thank you, Madam President.
Park Superintendent Armstrong.
I'd like to thank the Lions Club for giving us lunch, and I'd like to thank Hankinson for preparing this day and giving me the park superintendent.
Street Superintendent Holbrook.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hankinson for organizing everything, and I'd like to thank all the workers for helping us.
I think there was something there about wanted to add.
I want to thank the Lions Club for the food that's provided. Mr. Hankinson for the high position. Mayor John for helping me through all of this. A big thank you to my assistant Jenna for 60 weeks. I want to thank my dog Junior for the doing it. And last but not least, I want to thank Sidewalk for keeping me off the street. Thank you, everyone.
Alright, there's no new business. Moving on to the reading of bids.
First off, the street department for materials. Shoreline Materials Inc. for limestone and gravel had the highest bid. And the second for the wastewater department for chemicals, the U.S. Illuminate Company Inc. for the aluminum sulfate had the highest bid. Thank you, Madam President.
Adjournment?
Madam President,
Ms. Lehman?
I'd like to motion to adjourn this meeting.
Madam President? Ms. Moore? I would like to second that motion. We have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Hold it. First, I gotta give him a round of applause. This time we have Mayor Johnson, and you want to have Mayor Babcock, would you like to join me down here?
That was great.
Some have already gotten certificates of appreciation. If you'd like to help me hand these out. For our prosecutor, Colton Huber. They can come up front and shake. Go up front. That's fine. I don't need to shake. Oh, geez, and this one too. The assistant auditor, Abby Wilhelm. Congratulations. Our safety director, Connor Carpenter. Catherine McGinnis, the service director. Amanda Adams, the Assistant Safety Director. Maddie Shoemaker, the Assistant Service Director. Oh, and you're appointed to the task force. Congratulations. Council took action. Congratulations. Taylor, is it Schools? Okay, Taylor Schools, the Assistant Utilities Director. Jacob Garcia, the Assistant Zoning Inspector. Eddie, there's your counterpart. Dara Patel, the Police Sergeant. Jonathan Schaefer, Police Sergeant. Sydney Davis, Police Detective. Alex Bradley, Police Detective. Brooke Connors, Police Officer. Amanda Flood, Police Officer. David Yon, Police Officer. Taylor Wagner, Police Officer. Aaron Lashley, Fire Captain. Kara Spence, Fire Captain. Kyle Yoho, Firefighter. Austin Arnold, Firefighter. Ashley Day, Firefighter. Rachel Elam, Firefighter. Gray Holt, Parks Board. Leah Clagan, Parks Board. And Nick Bonfram, Parks Board. Mayor Babcock, great job. And the other day, too. I got to tell you, I had him over here for lunch Wednesday afternoon, and I was really impressed with the way that Mayor Babcock interacted with the group of city officials and business and community leaders. He actually had some ideas and shared some thoughts with everybody and interacted with them very well. So I appreciate it. Great job.
Okay, before we dismiss everyone, this is a time for photo op. So any parents or anyone want to get a picture of somebody getting it or get a group picture or whatever, now's the time to do that.
You want to get a group picture of him? Hey guys, come down around in front for me, please. Bring your certificates so you can put over your face.
I'm no longer responsible for you.
Yes, all of you. Yes, everybody. Even Abby. So what do they get a resolution to admonish? Yes. You gotta squeeze in really tight, guys.
An extra row, we'll never get away from cameras.
Yeah, put tall people in the back. That's too wide.
Sounds like get me out.
Did you get everybody? Susan, there they fit?
Yeah, I got everyone.
All right.
Oh, Just kidding, I got you.
That's the quietest I've ever heard.
Get them all?
Everyone that has a name tag too that's on your place, you can take that with you when you leave too. Like the council people stuff on front, the little thing when you're done.
Don't get it now.
Don't get it now. So we're done. Good.
While you guys are quiet, say that I think this is the most articulate class I've seen you conduct so far. So you guys were. Say your message as well. I think you guys did fantastic.
Thanks,
It was
Jenna.
awesome.
Thank you, Jenna.
You got
Great job. Great job.